What's up, party people? N3 Army in the house. We are live from the heart of the Storm Patriots where the news hits different because we hit different. I'm Gary Franchi. This is the Raw Feed where millions worldwide join us every day on YouTube, Rumble, and X to cut through the mainstream media garbage and get the real story. Before we dive in today's explosive lineup, make sure you're following us on all platforms, YouTube, Rumble, and X. The censorship hammer could drop at any moment, and we need you connected everywhere. And share the stream right now via text message to bypass their algorithms. X viewers repost this to your followers. Let's blow up their suppression tactics together. What sets the Raw Feed apart is you, but mostly me. I'll be reading your reactions live throughout the show. Your comments, your passion, your insight make this more than just news. It's a movement. We'll be featuring your super chats and Rumble rants on screen between segments for the world to see. You can send them in right now, even before we officially kick off, so let's get the energy going. Check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got Alligator Alcatraz, President Otto Penn, and our American Badass series show the world where you get your news and support independent media at the same time. Links are in the description. If you want to support the show privately, hit those donation links in the description. Every dollar helps us stay on the air and keep bringing you the unfiltered truth they don't want you to hear. And for those ready to take it to the next level, join our YouTube channel memberships. You'll get special acknowledgement in the chat room, exclusive access to the Next News team, behind-the-scenes uploads, and entry to our members-only 24/7 Discord chat. Each membership level comes with its own perks. Check it out and become part of our inner circle. Now, let me take you back to August 26, 1920, exactly 105 years ago today. The 19th Amendment was certified, giving women the right to vote. I promised Angie I'd make a joke here. It was a seismic shift in American democracy, expanding power to millions who'd been shut out. And today we are witnessing another power shift, but this time it's Trump wresting control back from the deep state's elite who have hijacked our government. From firing Federal Reserve governors to unleashing law enforcement on crime-ridden streets, we're seeing a president who's not asking permission, he's taking action. Now today's show is loaded. We've got Trump's marathon cabinet meeting where he floated changing the Department of Defense to the Department of War. We're covering the constitutional crisis erupting after Trump fired Fed Governor Lisa Cook over mortgage fraud allegations, her lawsuits. Her lawyers are threatening lawsuits, but Trump's saying bring it on. We're going to show you the crime crackdown that has D.C. residents thanking God for the first time in years. You'll see federal agents literally rushing out to arrest flag burners within hours of Trump's executive order. And wait until you see the absolute meltdown from the left, protesters who don't even know what they're protesting, Democrats defending criminals, and Tim Walz suggesting people burn Trump flags. And in a shocking revelation, we're learning now, late-breaking news, that Cracker Barrel has caved in. Yes, they heard the voices of the hungry, and they have now decided to stick to their original logo. Uncle Herschel is not going anywhere. The pressure was on from Next News to the Oval Office, and now Uncle Herschel will live to see another sign. We're not just reporting news here, we are making history together. While the mainstream media spins fairy tales, we're giving you raw footage, direct quotes, and unfiltered analysis. This is your show, this is your voice, and this is your platform. Now, before we begin today's broadcast, I would like to acknowledge that we are streaming from the traditional homeland of the Wi-Fi router peoples, whose sacred bandwidth was stolen by big tech colonizers. We pay our respect to the sacred grounds of the VHS peoples, the Betamax Confederation, and the forgotten Laserdisc nomads, whose spirits still haunt our streaming services, demanding late fees. In their honor, we observe a moment of silence for those who forgot to be kind and rewind. Their $1.50 late fees built the foundation of the entertainment industrial complex that we know today. With that out of the way, buckle up, Patriots. Tonight's show is going to melt your face off from Trump taking on the Federal Reserve to criminals finally facing justice to the left's complete mental breakdown and Cracker Barrel caving to the hungry demands of their patrons. We have got it all. This is the Raw Feed, and let's roll. So who's here today? We got Tink 123. The Federal Reserve, separate legal entity. In jurisdiction, no leader on earth can hire or fire any staff. It belongs to the Rothschilds. Sure You in the house. What's up, Sure You? Rascal in the house. Michael Jones. Karen Finley. What is up? We got Unbi in the house. Cambodia screaming loud and clear. We hear you. We hear you. We got Bella in Georgia. We got Tornan. Cambodia needs peace. Who else is here? We got Karen Myron in the house. We got Tracy in South Carolina. We got Kim Horun. We got Lynn was on time today. I was not, though. I apologize. Okay, who else is here? Let's see who else is in the house. Scrolling through. Michael Jones. Tracy Belmer, Scontech, Laser Dicks. Yeah, Laser Dicks. I said that. You know, slip of the tongue. That's what they used to call me in college, though. I'm just kidding. We got some super chats that just came through. Let's check them out real quick here. We got Curio23. What did the alligator say to show support for his friend? I'm right by your side. Man, Curio always chiming in with the dad jokes. We got Carol here, Michael Jones, Chino Jr. in the house, Todd Siegel holding it down. Of course, Brian Roberts behind the scenes, making sure everything is working. Couldn't do it without my team. I definitely owe it all to the folks behind the scenes who make it happen. Now, we've got a big cabinet meeting we have to digest, but first, a historical multiple-choice trivia question. Which president held the longest cabinet meeting in U.S. history? Was it A, Trump's breakfast buffet marathon, B, Lincoln during the Civil War crisis, 11 hours, Reagan, who fell asleep halfway through, or Biden, who forgot why they were there? Well, you can answer in the chat, in the comments, or in the poll. We're going to get your answer after this segment. They said a 78-year-old man couldn't handle the job. They said he'd need naps and short days. Well, President Trump just shattered that narrative with a 3-hour, 17-minute cabinet meeting completely open to the press. No breaks, no bathroom runs, just raw, unfiltered governance, while his critics can barely make it through a 20-minute press conference. But what happened inside that marathon session will reshape America's future. A surprise military rebrand that has the Pentagon brass sweating or maybe cheering. Job numbers that prove that the swamp is draining, and a Federal Reserve showdown that's about to explode into the biggest constitutional crisis since Watergate. The stamina display was just the opening act, so stay tuned. And while Trump's cabinet delivered bombshells for over 3 hours straight, you've got to ask yourself what happens when the real storms hit, when supply chains collapse and shelves go empty. That's why I trust My Patriot Supply. The 3-month emergency food kit saves you $100 right now, but supplies won't last. You get 2,000 plus calories daily for 90 days. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks, all in sturdy buckets that last 25 years. Made in the United States. No MSG, no junk. Just like America, just like Trump's preparing America for strength. Prepare your family for survival. Fast, free shipping, 30-day returns, disaster replacement guarantee. When government fails, your family still eats. Go to preparewithgary.com. That's preparewithgary.com. Be the hero that your family needs. It is linked down below. There is a lot to unpack from this marathon meeting. It is just so much going on. We'll jump right to the end, shall we? Here it is, President Trump concluding the meeting.
Greatest. I want to just thank, this is the greatest. This has never been done before. First of all, a cabinet meeting was sacred. You'd never let the fake news media in. But the fake news media isn't all fake. It's, a lot of it is, but it's not all. I think it's a great thing. I think maybe it's going to be done in the future. I hope it's going to be done. But you really get the word out. I mean, we had, each one of these people spoke. I think each one, if I thought one of them did badly, I would call that person out. I would say, Christy, what the heck are you
Don't say
doing?
that. Please don't say that.
No, but no, seriously, you have a very talented group of people. They get along, they work along together, and there's something really nice about just, the openness of what we're doing. It's government. It's an open government. That's what we are. I want to just thank, this is the
open government. Now, we're going to go and track to the beginning at the cabinet meeting. SBA Kelly highlights the wins for the working people made possible by President Trump's tax cuts.
In American history for
Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, everyone knows there's no stronger advocate for hardworking American families than you, sir. Thank you for the largest tax cut in American history for working families. The average family of four is going to save about $10,000 take-home pay more a year. And what we're seeing is an increase in the child tax credit, the increase in the standard deduction. Hardworking families are going to benefit from this bill, and small businesses. There's no bigger beneficiary than Main Street, because small business makes up 99% of all businesses in this country. I've traveled to nearly half of our states, 24 unique states. I've made 40 state visits. In fact, I was with our great vice president at a small business manufacturer in Georgia last week. I was with a trucking company in Ohio. I was in Michigan at a motorcycle manufacturer. The return of Made in America is going to be driven by small businesses, because 98% of all of our manufacturers in America are small and medium businesses, 600,000 factories that employ 5 million people. And as Secretary McMahon mentioned, this work-based learning that is going on in professional and trade schools is real. I've visited them from Utah to Maine to Georgia and seen this revolution in education happening. So small businesses need skilled labor. Now that you solve for inflation, for the taxes, every Democrat voted for a $4 trillion tax increase on the backs of hardworking Americans. And so you prevented that. And now we've got fair trade. And thanks to Administrator Zeldin, we're seeing deregulation. I mean, this diesel exhaust fluid crushed farmers and construction and other heavy industry. So rolling that back makes a real difference for small business. And your domestic economic agenda is amplified through small businesses, which is why small business optimism is above its 53-year average, finally.
So, are you a small business owner? Well, then you have a beautiful and bright future. A big, beautiful, bright future ahead of you. Stephen Chung, he posts about 4 hours ago, CNN refused to show Trump's cabinet meeting today where he praised American workers. Maybe that's why CNN's ratings are always in the toilet. Total viewers. Look at that. Those are the numbers. Nobody watches CNN at all. Continuing with the breakdown of that amazing marathon session, here is DNI Gabbard talking about the weaponization. You know, she's at the forefront of uncovering that and exposing it and declassifying so much information that has the swamp rats sweating.
Interests of the American sir, as we approach Labor Day weekend here, this is just such a great opportunity really to recognize your leadership as a true champion for working people. And I know we'll hear as we go around the table here how your focus singularly on putting the well-being and interests of the American people first is that common thread that we're seeing in your policies being implemented across your administration. For ODNI, number one, our focus is and must always be making sure that our intelligence community is focused on our mission, keeping the American people safe, secure, and free. We're doing great work on this front. I'll point out our National Counterterrorism Center, led by Director Joe Kent, are working across different agencies with Homeland Security, DEA, FBI, and others to catch terrorists, both those who are trying to come into our country, those who may already be in our country. They are finding the worst of the cartel bosses and making sure that they're not able to continue to wreak havoc and terror in our communities. Secondly, Mr. President, you have charged me with the mission of finding the truth and telling the truth to the American people. And we've exposed some of the worst examples of the weaponization of intelligence in the last several weeks. I will continue down that mission and that path wherever it leads. Transparency, telling the truth, is what will drive true accountability for the American people who deserve nothing less. And lastly, Mr. President, all of us are charged with being good stewards of taxpayer dollars. I've gone through a reorganization for ODNI that we've announced in the last week. We've cut nearly half of redundant, unnecessary functions within ODNI, saving taxpayers over $700 million a year. We will continue focusing on our core mission in keeping the American people safe, and appreciate your leadership and your focus on this most critical task. Sir.
That's called draining the swamp. From the intelligence side, all of those deep state actors, $700 million worth, gone. Let's check in with the EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, talking about some deregulation that's going on. Probably going to echo some of the Small Business Administration remarks we heard just a moment ago.
Year mix. Mr. President, the Trump EPA has a special Labor Day message to America's workforce, especially our auto workers, our coal miners, our steam fitters, our pipe fitters, and the list goes on. See what a difference a year makes. A year ago, the way that the Environmental Protection Agency was operating, the choice was made to protect the environment. We would have to strangulate the economy. That's the way that the EPA operated for years. There was a binary choice. We had to choose one or the other. The Trump EPA completely rejects that. See, we choose to protect the environment and grow the economy. And a very special shout out to Russ Vogt and his team at the Office of Management and Budget. We give him a lot of work. He's happy to do it. Dozens of different deregulatory actions. We just announced a proposed rescission of the 2009 Obama EPA endangerment finding, all of the light, medium, and heavy-duty vehicle regulations that followed. It is the single largest deregulatory action in the history of the United States government. And when you add up the dozens of different actions that we have announced and that we're working through, in one agency in 1 year, we'll do more deregulation than entire federal governments have done across all agencies, across entire presidencies. And what we are accomplishing would not be possible if not for the support of the rest of this team you've assembled around this table. The well-oiled, well-wired machine at the White House, led by Susie Wiles, and the DCOSP, the policy shop, led by Stephen Miller, they have been amazing to work with. I was just in Iowa with Administrator Loeffler, who made an announcement with Secretary Rollins to reverse the deratement on diesel exhaust fluid systems. Mr. President, you said you wanted water flowing faster. Working with the Secretary of Energy, we've done our part to do that, to get gas cans flowing faster, to stop that annoying start-stop feature in vehicles. See, people out there might say, well, why are you focused on all of these little things? If it's little to you, it doesn't mean that it's not a very big deal for millions of other Americans. The charge was clear when you called me in November and you asked me to do this job. Clean air, land, and water for all Americans. Unleash energy dominance. Advance cooperative federalism, permitting reform, make America the AI capital of the world, bring back American auto jobs. What we are accomplishing now, again, wouldn't be possible if not for your leadership. I'm grateful to the American people for electing.
Lee Zeldin laying it out. That's what happens when you take the chains off of the American people. And that's what we've witnessed with so much regulation, stifling small business. Even, like he said, it's the little things. It's the little things that add up. And that's what choke America. And President Trump, through his cabinet, are now unleashing American dominance. Let's check in with Secretary Kennedy, RFK Jr., talking about increasing FDA inspections and making sure Americans are not buying and eating contaminated shrimp, putting our shrimpers out of business.
On this cabinet meeting is supposed to be about working Americans, bringing jobs back to this country.
We got all kinds of shrimp.
And particularly rural America. And I want to mention the big, beautiful bill. Right now, we spend 7% of Medicaid dollars on rural hospitals. So they're getting the short end of the stick. It's about $19 billion a year. Under the Rural Transformation Program, we give them an extra $10 billion a year. So we're raising an infusion of cash to rural hospitals and rural communities by 50%. It's going to be the biggest infusion in history, and it's going to restore and revitalize these communities. And we can't survive as a nation if we don't honor our rural communities, which are the source of our values, our virtues, our character, our economy, our food. And you are bringing that back. You are bringing those communities back. I wanted to talk, because you mentioned the wind farms, we now have an interdepartmental coalition, a team, which is Doug Burgum and Howard Lutnick and Chris Wright and Pete Hegseth, who are all working on this issue. And Lee. Sorry, Lee. We're all working together on this issue. We're meeting together. There are right now 11 wind farms planned that were launched during the Biden administration. Between Maine and Virginia, it's 1,130 towers. These towers are twice the size of the Washington Monument. The blades on them are...
They're massive. It's so crazy.
The blades are 350 feet long, one blade. One of these blades blew up on Nantucket last summer, and the water was filled with shards of glass, of sharp glass, so it's dangerous to swim. They had to close the beaches, but they have indemnified themselves so the local communities can't sue them. None of these projects are bonded. If you build an oil derrick in the Gulf, you got to put a bond down. There's no bond for dismantling them, and that's one of the tools that Doug is now using to challenge some of these projects. None of the cost of energy from these projects is 39 cents a kilowatt hour. The average cost in this country is 17 cents per kilowatt hour.
And natural gas is 3 cents.
Right. So it is the most expensive energy. I've been representing commercial fishermen for 40 years. They are so excited about what you're doing, Mr. President, because their fisheries are being wiped out. As soon as they begin construction, the groundfish fisheries just disappear. The fish leave the area. They've killed 160 whales in the last 2 years. So they're wiping out the whale population, the Atlantic whale population, the big whales, the minkies, the gray whale, or the humpback whales, the right whales. And you are going to save the whales on the East Coast because of this. And you're going to save these economies that are based upon commercial fishing. I'll say.
Did you hear that? Trump is going to save the whales. All right. Are they going to hate him for that too? President Trump said he's going to do this in the wind farms, and now the whales are going to be safe. Oh my God! All the liberals, he's disarming them all. I love it.
One other thing about fishing. We are now, the South Asian nations are now dumping shrimp on our country. Mm-hmm. The shrimp is heavily contaminated. We just stopped a shipment that was contaminated with cesium-157, which is radioactive. They're farming these shrimps, and they use bactericides and antibiotics and all kinds of chemicals, and the shrimp are so contaminated that the European nations won't take them, so they're dumping them all here, and they're putting out of business. We have the most sustainable, highly regulated fishery in the world.
You know, I just saw a recall on shrimp the other day. Radioactive shrimp that's actually hitting the store shelves. Yeah, it's thank God that they're stopping it, though. Oh, and the burn bags, getting the truth out about the 2020 election. It's happening, folks.
A reorganization, transparency, telling the truth.
This is DNI Tulsi Gabbard, American hero.
Is what will drive true accountability for the American people who deserve nothing less. And lastly, Mr. President, all of us are charged with being good stewards of taxpayer dollars. I've gone through a reorganization for ODNI that we've announced in the most critical task.
And you've also found many bags of information. I think they call them burn bags. They're supposed to be burned, and they didn't get burned, having to do with how corrupt the 2020 election was. And when will that all come out?
Mr. President, I will be the first to brief you once we have that information collected. But you're right, we are finding documents literally tucked away in the back of safes in random offices, in these bags and in other areas, which again speaks to the intent of those who are trying to hide the truth from the American people and trying to cover up the politicization that was led by people like John Brennan and James Clapper and others that have caused really immeasurable harm to the American people and to our country.
Great job. Thank you. We look forward to hearing it.
Burn bags, baby. Burn bags. Let's see what else we got here. Tulsi Gabbard confirmed they found new documents pertaining to the 2020 election burn bags. Real America's Voice. Let's check in with Joe Hoft with Eric Bowling.
You know, for sure.
You've uncovered some new evidence. Tell us about it.
Well, it just keeps coming out, doesn't it, Eric? And it's making us all look a lot smarter every day. And truth tellers, you know, for sure. This afternoon, President Trump's administration meeting, he called out Tulsi Gabbard. She again's done an exceptional job. I think some of us are just so impressed with the entire cabinet, but Tulsi's been just fantastic. What he asked her at the end of her segment was he asked her about the 2020 election, that he goes, I've heard that you found some documents in those ready to destroy bags related to the 2020 election. And so she did confirm that, yeah, they found some stuff that relates to the election that's going to be shocking, and that it will be coming out soon, as soon as they, vet it and go through it all. But it sounds like there's been this area or this room where they found all these bags that were ready to be destroyed evidence, and in that they found all sorts of information. John Solomon's been on your show to talk about some of that stuff already, but now they're getting down to the 2020 election. What I'm hearing is the evidence that they have is just going to be absolutely shocking. People are going to be blown away, and to many of us who've been studying the 2020 election. As you know, Eric, I wrote 3 books about the 2020 election leading up to what happened, and then the cover-up, which was just as terrible as the election itself. And it's now not surprising that we're seeing more and more evidence. We just can't wait to see what they found. So
the cover-up was so bad you couldn't even talk about it on social media. We had videos deleted because we simply mentioned it. Let's find out about when we get to the Secretary of Defense. Good morning. Good Monday. President Trump on changing the Department of Defense to the Department of War.
What are we defense? Why anymore? And so, Pete, you started, because if they won, you wouldn't have a country anymore. And so, Pete, you started up by saying the Department of Defense. And somehow it didn't sound good to me. It didn't sound good. Defense, what are we defense? Why are we defense? So it used to be called the Department of War. And it had a stronger sound. And as you know, we won World War I, we won World War II, we won everything. Now we have a Department of Defense. We're defenders. I don't know. If you people want to, standing behind me, if you take a little vote, if you want to change it back to what it was when we used to win wars all the time, that's okay with me. All right?
That's coming
You let me know if you want to do it. I think Department of War. It just sounded bad. He said, sir, on behalf of the Department of Defense. Defense. I don't want to be defense only. We want defense, but we want offense too, if that's okay. So you'll make a decision. But as Department of War, we won everything. We won everything. And I think
back-to-back World War champs, baby. That is America. Let's keep going. Speaking of the Secretary of Defense, here he is at the cabinet meeting just a few hours ago.
Sir, well, amen to what Howard said. And I would just say, heading into Labor Day from the American military, sir, we happen to be the largest employer in America. We like to think we have a different form of employees who need to be the toughest and the strongest and the most well-trained and the most lethal. And under the previous administration, and for decades, frankly, it was social justice, it was political correctness, it was divisive ideologies seeping into the ranks and changing how well we do our job. No more. Now it is only merit-based, gender-neutral, colorblind. The best of the best from the top to the bottom. That's our expectation. And sir, you've enabled that. So from the troops directly, which they ask me to say all the time, thank you for your leadership, for your boldness, for your clarity, for common sense, for providing a shield for the rest of us to put America first and to apply peace through strength. We're in the strength business. That's our job, is to stand behind everybody here and alongside John in everything they do to keep the country safe. And the world is noticing. And I wish everybody could. There were 2 meetings yesterday that I think tell the story. One was, because today happens to be the 4-year anniversary of what happened at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan. Mr. President, you had the families in, who you've met with multiple times, who, when the cameras were on and not on, acknowledged, sir, you were the only one that gave them a proper greeting, that recognized what they gave their sons and daughters in the debacle that was the withdrawal in Afghanistan, that we will bring accountability for at the Defense Department through our investigation.
That's good.
But at the same time, the world sadly took notice. Whether it was Israel, whether it was Ukraine, those wars never would have started if you were president. Instead, they looked at the foolishness of Joe Biden. Under your military, your Pentagon, we are restoring deterrence. Whether it's Midnight Hammer and those beautiful B-2s, 37 hours straight, whether it's counter-drug operations in our own hemisphere, whether it's the border, working with Christie.
Now, that was a reference to what's going on off the coast of Venezuela right now, which we are currently tracking. The destroyers off the coast, and of course, Maduro activating supposedly 4.5 million militia in the event that the United States goes in to take him out. To get that bounty is $50 million on his head.
And the national security team, whether it's LA, whether it's Washington, D.C., you name it, whether it's Europe, our allies paying 5%, now our allies in the Indo-Pacific stepping up to do the same. That's a recognition that American leadership is here. And then in the second meeting, we were talking about what we're doing in D.C., and Pam's taking the lead. I have to say, just pause for a second. When I look around this table, yes, there's a national security team of Steve Witkoff and John and Scott and Howard and the vice president and Susie and Christie and Tulsi, but to every person here, we work together on a daily basis. And if you call me and I call you, the answer is yes. How do we do it together? I think that's exceptional. It's what the American people deserve, and you've demanded that, sir. So I very much appreciate it. In that meeting on D.C., I started my sentence by saying, the Department of Defense.
Here we go.
To which you said, that just doesn't sound right. So maybe next time we're here, my card will read Department of War. We'll see. But it's not, here's the thing, here's what people miss. It's not just about words. It's about the warrior ethos. It's about what the department is supposed to do. George Washington started the Department of War because he wanted us to win our wars. Our founders didn't want endless foreign entanglements. They didn't want endless contingencies and deployments. They wanted an empowered military that was, the handcuffs were taken off to fight to win, and then bring those troops home. So my platoon in Guantanamo Bay, our motto was, those who long for peace must declare for war. We must prepare for war. We don't want war, we don't seek it. You are the peace president, sir. Because we are strong, our enemies know what we will do. And so whether it's Secretary of War or Secretary of Defense, that warrior ethos is changing. We're going back to basics. Our drill instructors can be drill instructors again, sir. So from the minute of the tactical of standards to the strategic of B-2 bombers, we're focused on what matters. Had a meeting yesterday on Golden Dome for America, which is on track to deliver strategically for the American people. Munitions, and the Deputy Secretary making sure our stockpiles are overflowing. That's our job. I'm honored to be a part of it, sir. Thank you for your leadership. Sir,
yeah, baby. America is back. God, you gotta love looking at this stuff. What else have we got here? Here is, let's check it with Pam Bondi.
That we're winning. President, I'm working with everyone around this table almost daily on legal issues that we're winning on. But today, because it's Labor Day, President Trump, if I could focus on public safety, not only domestic, but from our foreign adversaries. And Secretary McMahon, I know you know, kids are out of school this weekend. It's Labor Day. And Secretary Duffy, you know, Our highways are going to be packed with travelers coming to not only our nation's capital, but all over this country. We're also going to have boaters, Secretary Duffy, right, on our waterways. It is illegal to be under the influence and on a boat. So get a designated boater if you're out on our waterways, whether it's the Potomac or the Gulf of America or the Pacific. Wherever you're out this weekend, people need to be safe. And on an international level, Secretary Rubio, thank you for all your help on everything we're doing, and everyone around this room. But yesterday, there was a big, big win. El Mayo pled guilty, and he was the co-founder of Sinaloa cartel with El Chapo. And there's even a Narcos Netflix series about these guys. Well, now we know the ending. He's going to die in an American prison. They are one of the worst, El Chapo and El Mayo, some of the worst narco traffickers in our world. And he will spend life in prison now. And that's so important because those guys and others throughout this country, throughout this world, have brought into our country drugs, cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, methamphetamines that's killing our kids. And we have to stop that. And that's what you've been doing not only in D.C., but around the country at your leadership. And over the weekend, parents need to know, with kids out of school, with people out on our highways and on our waters, do not take a pill from anyone you know, don't know. Do not buy anything on the street. It could be laced with something toxic. We've seen so many fentanyl overdoses. And when you were here in D.C., we showed you pictures of some of the drugs that had been seized right here in D.C. President, they were packaged for children. Packaged for children. And people are dying from these around our country. So thank you, President Trump, for your leadership and for letting Americans know that it's now a safe place to go. But parents also have to know, college kids have to know, to be vigilant and not take this trash. Because you could be thinking you're taking a Xanax, an Adderall, anything, and it could be laced with something very lethal. So thank you, President.
You know, this cabinet meeting lasted over 3 hours. And we're trying to give you the best that we can from the meeting. I know we're 30 minutes into this report, and I think I want to just close it off with this President Trump message. We got a couple actually here, but they're short. This is President Trump discussing Labor Day, and the next one about the inauguration.
But I want to thank you all for being here as we prepare to celebrate Labor Day, when we honor the incredible hardworking men and women of our country, which is doing very well, I have to tell you. Every policy of the Trump administration is designed to lift up the American worker, promote great-paying blue-collar jobs, and to rebuild the industrial bedrock of our nation. It's also obviously for great defense. We have the greatest military in the world. But I want to thank you all for being
the greatest military.
New private jobs. Since the inauguration, we've created over 500,000 new private jobs. And if you notice, when the numbers come out, government jobs are going down and private jobs are coming up. And that's what really fuels the country. It's easy to hire people and pay them for doing something that maybe is not very productive. But government jobs are down, actually substantially down, and private jobs are way up. And these are the jobs that make money, create a better life. Meanwhile, we've reduced the number of federal bureaucrats by 84,000.
Wow.
So we got rid of 84,000. And I think the job numbers, you're going to see the new job numbers are going to be through the roof because of all of the different businesses that are moving into our country. And not just production businesses, autos and AI, but any business you can think of. Since you know,
folks, we are only 6 months into this presidency. Only 6 months into this presidency. I mean, you heard that list of wins. That's just a snapshot of a 3-hour marathon session. We got 3.5 years to go, baby. If you got value from this report, tab subscribe. My final thought is next. So, this 3-hour marathon wasn't just about stamina. It was a declaration of war against business as usual. While Biden's handlers limited him to index cards and teleprompters, Trump opened the doors and let America watch real leadership in action. 500,000 private sector jobs created, 84,000 bureaucrats shown the door, historic trade deals forcing other nations to pay up, the largest middle-class tax cuts in history, a president ready to rename defense to war because we're done playing defense. So here's the real question for you. Should Trump have the power to fire Federal Reserve governors accused of crimes? Drop a yes or no in the comments, because the fight with Lisa Cook could be headed to the Supreme Court and could change everything. This is what draining the swamp looks like, folks. Real time, real results, real leadership. So check out our merch shop. It's linked down below, and show the world you're part of the revolution. Was there mention of Cook in that segment? I didn't see it. There was so much to go through. Did I miss it? Or is that coming up in another segment? It wasn't in any of these clips at all. So I'm not sure why that outro mentioned that, because it's actually coming up in the next segment. So, okay, so it's actually in a different segment. Yeah, Trump declares he's ready to fight. Bitcoin says he has no authority. Okay. Okay. All right. We have some super chats here. Cody dropping $10. Thank you, Gary, for all you do. I love intro song Raw Feed MAGA. Jeff dropping $3. Thank you, Jeff. He says, you rock, Gary. AJ Cruz dropping $5. Can we please put Hillary inside of a burn bag? Oh, my. You guys love Hillary, don't you? All right. Let's get to our answer from our trivia question. You guys said it was... Where are we at here? I'm sorry. I'm a little disjointed. You guys said A, Trump breakfast buffet marathon? No. It was Lincoln during the Civil War crisis, 11 hours. Lincoln's 11-hour emergency session in 1863 addressed Union military disasters, and Trump's 3+ hours today ranks among modern records. Okay, moving into our next topic. First, our trivia question. Which president first tried to fire a Federal Reserve member? Was it A, Trump with his "you're fired" tradition, B, FDR during the Great Depression, C, Nixon, who wanted lower rates, or D, Andrew Jackson before the Fed existed? Drop your answer in the comments or in the chat or in the poll. Let's continue this answer in after this next segment. All right, let's move into what's going on with the Federal Reserve. A Federal Reserve governor with a lifetime appointment just got the pink slip. The crime? Alleged mortgage fraud. Her response? Lawyer up and declare war on the president. This isn't just another Trump firing. It's a constitutional showdown that could redefine presidential power forever. Markets wobbling, Wall Street's panicking, the Fed chair's gone silent, and the woman at the center of it all is refusing to leave her office. Lisa Cook says Trump has no authority to fire her. Trump says that he's ready for the legal cage match. What happens next will determine whether presidents can hold central bankers accountable for crimes or whether the Fed remains an untouchable fourth branch of government. Keep on watching. And when the Federal Reserve gets this shaky, your financial security matters more than ever. That's why I trust my Patriot Supply for real security, food security. Their 3-month emergency food kit saves you $100 right now. Get 2,000 calories daily for 90 days. Real meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks, not survival rations, actual food your family will eat. Stored in rugged buckets, last 25 years, made in the USA, no MSG, no junk ingredients. While Wall Street panics over Fed drama, smart Americans are securing what really matters, feeding their families when systems fail. Fast, free shipping, 30-day returns, disaster guarantee. Don't wait for the next crisis. Go to preparewithgary.com. That's preparewithgary.com. Real security starts with food security. All right. The battle against the Federal Reserve is heating up, Here is the letter that was sent just 24 hours ago to Lisa Cook. She got cooked. We read some of this yesterday, but now the fallout continues. Let's check in. What is AJ saying about this? I just saw him here in our feed. Let's check in with AJ.
Last night, Trump fired the private Federal Reserve Board Governor, Lisa Cook, citing the overwhelming evidence that his task force already has of mortgage fraud by her. And they're going after all these people. They're going after them for income tax evasion, you name it. The grand juries are open. They're open in Pennsylvania. They're open in Virginia. They're open in Missouri. They're open in New York. They're opening up in Florida. And I've got that right from the head of the task force. They're open. And the subpoenas are going out, and the grand juries are convening as we speak. And this is Trump taking the gloves off. The EU private central bank owns the majority of the Federal Reserve. That's on record. They've gotten interest rate cuts. We haven't. And we need interest rate cuts. And in the past, they gave massive interest rate cuts to Democrats. This is an attack on the economy, on the housing market, on everybody. Trump's recovery is barely working and would supercharge if they did this. So he's going to bat for America. It creates a constitutional crisis. He really can't fire her because it's a private Federal Reserve. But Congress can revoke its charter. But he's bringing it to a head to point all this out. So Trump is hitting on all cylinders when it comes to taking on the deep state compared to what he did 8 years ago. It took months to get the task forces set up, to vet the people, thousands of them. It's now rolling. It's now happening. That said, I'm going to do another video on Trump's executive order, a year in jail for burning a flag, 100% unconstitutional, 100% violation of the First Amendment, and then they could ban burning Israeli flags or banning, the Union Jack flag or banning the Dallas Cowboy flag. It's just like banning the world.
Okay, so he mentioned the IRS. Roger Stone, speaking of the Federal Reserve and the IRS, they're intertwined. Both beasts birthed during the same year. Roger Stone said that repealing the 1913 Federal Income Tax Act is not just a random idea. He writes, in June, for the first time in 15 years, the U.S. ran a surplus thanks to the incredible tariff negotiations of President Trump and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
I also think the idea of repealing the 1913 Federal Income Tax Act is not just a random thought. At the rate we are going, in the month of June, for the first time in 15 years, the United States government actually ran a surplus, thanks to the incredible tariff negotiations of President Donald Trump, aided by Scott Bessent. I also think
President Trump running a surplus. Now, Alex had something to say that Trump cannot fire, but this is the letter. We read this yesterday, and it says here, the Federal Reserve Act provides that you may be removed at my discretion for cause, right there, Section 12 USC 242. And he has determined that there is sufficient cause to remove you from your position because of the criminal referral dated August 15th, 2025. So that's the basis for the removal. Here's President Trump weighing in on that removal in the cabinet meeting earlier today.
Things that we found out. Oh, sure. Always. You always have legal fights. Look, I had a legal fight that went on for years with crooked people, with very horrible people, people that have been found out now between John Ratcliffe and Tulsi and Pam. And, I mean, the things that we found out, of course, it's a very, very sad group of people. But no, she seems to have had an infraction, and she can't have an infraction, especially that infraction, because she's in charge of, if you think about it, mortgages, and we need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was. Oh, sure. Oh,
it doesn't seem like she was, and that's exactly why President Trump said that he is ready. Here's more.
Legal act.
Questions you
On a serious note, when it comes to Fed Governor Lisa Cook, her lawyer has said that they're going to be filing a lawsuit challenging this legal action. What is your response? Are you prepared for a legal fight? And then a little bit more.
Oh, sure, always. You always have legal fights. Look, I had a legal fight that went on for years with crooked people, with very horrible people that have been...
Okay, so that was the actual question that brought about that message here. Bitcoin News reporting Trump has no authority to remove Lisa Cook from the Fed's board, her attorney Abbe Lowell said. He called the move illegal and based only on referral letters, adding that they will file a lawsuit to challenge it. The Guardian headline here, Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook to sue Trump administration over its attempt to fire her. No authority, lacks factual or legal basis to fire the Fed governor. Well, the allegations have been made. Sky News reporting a governor of the U.S. Central Bank plans to file a lawsuit. Lisa Cook's attorney says the president has no authority. Let's check in with their hit.
Against some breaking news to bring you now, coming to us from the United States, reporting from our colleagues at NBC News that Lisa Cook, who is the governor of the Federal Reserve, plans to file a lawsuit against President Trump over his attempt to fire her. A statement from her attorney, Abbe Lowell, said President Trump has no authority to remove Lisa Cook. His attempt to fire her, based solely on a referral letter, lacks any factual or legal basis. We will be filing a lawsuit challenging this illegal action. President Trump has looked to fire Lisa Cook over what he says are irregularities in the way that she got a mortgage, and it's just a...
Let's go. We got more on that. The Rabbit Hole writes, being the first black woman to do X is not a job qualification. He's quote tweeting Hakeem Jeffries' statement on Donald Trump's baseless attack on Dr. Lisa Cook. I'm not sure how baseless it is if there's been criminal referrals. Hakeem Jeffries writes, Dr. Lisa Cook is the first black woman ever to serve on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. Notice how he opens up. He immediately throws down the race card, as if this is some kind of racially motivated attack. No, it's an integrity-motivated attack. He says Donald Trump is trying to remove her without a shred of credible evidence that she has done anything wrong. To the extent anyone is unfit to serve in a position of responsibility because of deceitful and potentially criminal conduct, it is the current occupant of the White House. The American people are not buying your phony projection and slander of a distinguished public servant. Okay. Yeah, well, you just disqualified yourself by just dropping the race card right out the gate there. Trump fired her 24 hours ago. She was appointed by Joe Biden, Yahoo Finance. She's denied the president's authority to fire her, but she hasn't denied the allegation. Stone X senior advisor John Hilsenrath says.
And it is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, the Fed has come under pressure in the past from the White House. Famous cases in the 1980s. Paul Volcker almost resigned when Reagan administration officials pushed him to cut interest rates in the 1970s. Arthur Burns was under a lot of pressure. But I haven't seen anything like this where a governor is being told to step down, is being fired by the president. And there's a lot of ironies in this case. The president of the United States himself has been found guilty of financial fraud in the Letitia James case in terms of the Trump Organization.
Hold it there, buddy. Hold it. That case was thrown out. Trump won. Are you going to bring that up? Are you going to bring that up? We just covered it here, pal.
And also in the Alvin Bragg case with regard to payments to adult actresses. So this is high drama, and there's a lot at stake for the Fed.
Yeah, and on the one hand, John, the White House saying that this is about that alleged mortgage fraud. But on the other, many are viewing it as Trump trying to remake the Fed in his image. How do you weigh that legal issue versus the institutional precedent and what we could see from the Fed moving forward if this were to go through?
Right. Don't care what you have to say. Yeah, we're going to skip over you, buddy. Because if Trump wants to make over the Fed in his image, I'm all for it. All right? Fire them all. End the Fed, shut it down. If that's what we have to do, if that's Trump's idea, let it be. Lael Brainerd, this is Bloomberg TV, so be careful. Lael Brainerd, former vice chair of the Federal Reserve, says that the independence of the Federal Reserve is under attack, with President Trump trying to fire Lisa Cook, the independence. Yeah, foreign-owned entity.
I'm joined now by someone who intimately understands the Fed, was there for 10 years, and most recently was the Fed vice chair under Jay Powell, who is still now the chair, and that's, of course, Lael Brainerd. Lael, thank you so much for joining us this morning. As we see this standoff between President Trump and Governor Cook, we have yet to hear from the Fed itself. What kind of response do you think we can expect from the institution?
Well, I think the Federal Reserve is in an incredibly difficult position here, but you have to remember, this is not about an individual governor. This is really an unprecedented attack on the independence of the Federal Reserve as an institution. There is...
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! I'm all for it. Let's go, baby.
Nobody in the Federal Open Markets Committee, the Monetary Policy Setting Committee, that can't be thinking, well, what does this mean for me? And so any member of the board, presumably, is going to worry that they too could be subject to this kind of political pressure.
They should be worried, every single one of those globalist central bankers. They should be shaking in their loafers.
And that fundamentally undermines the institutional independence of the Fed, which means higher inflation potentially, less credibility, even higher long-term interest rates, bad for the economy.
Do you think this can actually impact how members are thinking about monetary policy?
Well, I just think the implication, if any member of that board could come under this kind of political pressure from the White House, and of course we saw that...
It's not political pressure. He fired her ass because she had allegedly cooked the books on her mortgage. All right? If these are the people determining monetary policy in the United States, cooking the books, yeah, bye-bye.
Kind of pressure on the chair earlier this year, I think that does really put a higher premium on whether they're going to be willing to speak their minds, to dissent on key votes if necessary. I think it really does create unprecedented risks.
The president's letter...
Yeah, let's go, baby. I hope they're all scared. What do we have this? 22 hours ago. Of course, like clockwork, here is globalist stooge economist Paul Krugman doing the master's bidding and bashing Trump about firing Fed Governor Lisa Cook. There is a reason the Federal Reserve was created in secret before Christmas on private Jekyll Island. There is a reason Andrew Jackson went to war to prevent the second bank of the United States from debt enslaving Americans. The Federal Reserve is neither federal nor has reserves. It is an international private banking cartel that privatizes the gains and socializes the losses. Here is Paul Krugman, the Obama-Biden economic advisor, who was one of the dumbest cronies alive, who once said we should fake an alien invasion to print money to jumpstart the economy. No, I'm not kidding. He's lying to you when he says the Federal Reserve is not political. All they are is political. That's why the interest rates have not moved. He was a big fan of money printing with zero interest rates for Wall Street after they almost destroyed us after the Lehman Brothers for years. The goal was to make the banks whole with TARP off the backs of the American middle class, and they did just that, and savers were punished. The Fed was always lowering rates and keeping them low while Democrats were in office or before an election. Obama's average interest rate was 0.27% every 2 terms. The Fed are Keynesian. They are not part of the globalists. They do not want Trump. They are part of the globalists. They do not want Trump or any populists in power. There's a reason all of your dollar value has crashed, and it's because of the Federal Reserve. Just listen to Ron Paul. Listen.
Monetary policy from history, no member.
Rachel.
So we got some breaking news just.
Rachel Maddow, MSNBC.
As we are coming on the air tonight, President Trump is purporting to have fired a member of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve. Her name is Lisa Cook. She's been a Fed governor since 2022. She is the first black woman to serve on the Fed board.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. Oh, of course. Right on cue. Drop the race card.
And its 111-year history. And in that entire 111-year history, no member of the Fed's board has ever been fired by any president. And that's not because presidents haven't wanted to do it. It's because a president is not legally allowed to fire members of the Fed board just because he feels like it. The Federal Reserve Board is an independent body charged with setting monetary policy for the United States. It was created to be independent precisely so presidents could not monkey around with stuff like interest rates. Trump has been threatening for months to fire the head of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, saying that his administration has uncovered some kind of evidence that she committed mortgage fraud. Ms. Cook has not been charged with any wrongdoing. She has certainly not been convicted of anything. But tonight, in a letter to Lisa Cook that he posted online, Trump says he's firing her because of the unproven fraud accusations his administration has produced this evening. Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman writes this: "We are all Lisa Cook." He says, quote, "The message here clearly isn't don't commit fraud," which would be laughable coming from Donald Trump, of all people, nor, despite what some commentators have said, is it all about revenge, although Trump is indeed a remarkably vindictive person. Mainly, Krugman says, quote,
I can't take anymore. I can't take anymore.
Jekyll Island, November 1910. 7 bankers meeting in secret to create America's central bank. We just can't call it that. The 1907 panic nearly destroyed us. Banks failed, fortunes vanished. We want to control America's money supply, create booms, trigger busts, and profit from both. And how will we do that? We'll create money from nothing, loan it to the government, and charge interest. Legal counterfeiting, my friends. But there's a cost. Every dollar we print steals value from existing dollars. It's a hidden tax that flows directly to us. And it gets worse. If we ever get off the gold standard, governments can print money for wars. Endless wars become possible and profitable. Since Americans hate central banks, we'll call it the Federal Reserve. Sounds governmental, doesn't it? It's not. The president will appoint board members, but we'll pick who he appoints. We'll have 12 regional banks. Looks decentralized, democratic even, but New York banks control them all. That's us. You're probably wondering how we're going to get this through Congress. December 23rd, 1913. Most of Congress home for Christmas. Perfect timing for passing unpopular legislation. I'll publicly oppose our own bill in Congress. They'll pass it thinking they beat Wall Street. We'll fund university chairs, write the textbooks. They'll teach our system as economic science. Beautiful. Every American born after this will inherit debt on money we created from nothing. Generational servitude. The Federal Reserve. Not federal, no reserves. But everyone will think it's their government protecting them.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. I've actually been to Jekyll Island, and I actually had lunch with G. Edward Griffin in the room where the Federal Reserve was born. Here's Paul Krugman.
To get people to do, I mean, much better, obviously, to build bridges and roads and healthcare clinics and schools. But I actually have a serious proposal, which is that we have to get a bunch of scientists to tell us that we're facing a threatened alien invasion. And in order to be prepared for that alien invasion, we have to do things like build high-speed rail and then once we've recovered, we can say, whoops, there were no aliens. But look, I mean, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Bro, what the fuck? What? Why isn't my phone focusing? What is happening right now? Where is it going? It's landing.
That was really a great explanation of the Federal Reserve. Probably one of the greatest I have seen in such a short clip. Let's check in with Maddie DeVera. It looks like Lisa Cook just got cooked.
From her position. Breaking news, y'all. This just in. President Trump has removed Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook from her position. Trump said that there is sufficient reason that Ms. Cook had made false statements on one or more mortgage applications. Presidents can only remove a federal official for cause, which has been historically understood to mean serious concerns about the official's ability to continue serving. So in Ms. Cook's case, it means that Trump has sufficient evidence to make that executive decision for him to remove her from her position.
Yep. Even the TikTokers know. Let's see. Disgraced federal gov Lisa Cook refuses to resign.
President Trump says that Fed Governor Lisa Cook has been relieved of her position on the Fed board over rising allegations of mortgage fraud. He posted the letter that he sent her on Truth Social outlining her firing, saying, quote, "The American people must be able to have full confidence in the honesty of the members overseeing the Federal Reserve. In light of your deceitful and potentially criminal conduct in a financial matter, they cannot and I do not have such confidence in your integrity." Now, Cook refusing to resign, reportedly saying this: President Trump reported to fire me for cause when no cause exists under the law, and he has no authority to do so. I will not resign. I will continue to carry out my duties to help the American economy as I have been doing since 2022. U.S. Federal Housing Director Bill Pulte, who has been on this case since day one, thanking the president for his actions, he said on X, "If you commit mortgage fraud in America, we will come after you, no matter who you are." Pulte also spoke with Maria last week on this program, who laid out Cook's situation.
Lisa Cook has big problems. They're going to continue to get bigger. It's very odd to see people try to twist backways, sideways, and upside down to justify mortgage fraud. This is a very serious crime. I believe the president has ample cause to fire Lisa Cook. We will go where mortgage fraud is. If mortgage fraud is with a Republican or a Democrat, it doesn't matter. If you commit mortgage fraud in President Trump's America, we're going to come after you. And Lisa Cook is no exception to that. In her case, she had a home in Michigan, and then 2 weeks later, she gets a loan in Michigan for her home. She declares it as her primary principal residence, and then literally 2 weeks later, she goes to an Atlanta condo, buys an Atlanta condo, secures a loan, and also declares that as her primary residence.
Okay, so to be here clear, Mitch, so the allegations of mortgage fraud, Bill Pulte has referred this to the DOJ and Pam Bondi. So Cook is under investigation. However, there is no decision there and charges have not been filed. The question now becomes the legal term under the law that governs the Federal Reserve. And that is where it's a little murky. This is unprecedented. We've never had a president, quote, fire a Federal Reserve Board governor in our nation's history. What do you make of this?
Well, there's a presumption of innocence out there, you know, in general. That's the way our country was founded. Having said that, she is a governor of the Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve Bank, amongst other things, is responsible for oversight of our entire financial system. And here you have an individual who said that Michigan and Atlanta, Georgia are both her principal residents. It could be a clerical oversight, give her the benefit of the doubt, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't smell good. And this is part of a pattern. We saw this with Senator Adam Schiff, and there are others, that, you know, people who are in a position of authority, like senators, like Fed governors, should not be making these kinds of mistakes. It's not a good look. But if it wasn't for the president's harsh criticism of the Fed and Jerome Powell and their decision-making prowess regarding interest rates and other things, this probably wouldn't be as hot of a political issue.
Well, Michael, so Trump cited Article 2 of the Constitution and the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 to say that she had been fired effective immediately. Now, she's hired Abbe Lowell, and they are working on her behalf. And the firm says they are planning to take whatever actions are needed to prevent this attempted illegal action by President Trump. Look, I mean, under the Federal Reserve Act, the president can fire again, and I said this twice now, for cause. The question is the legality of this, and we've never been here legally before. And so, you know, if you look at quotes by some of the legal scholars that are out there, Columbia's Catherine Judge, Fed scholar Peter Conti Brown, no clean precedent for this. It's typically an on-the-job type of misconduct. So I'm kind of jumping ahead to the legal fight that it looks like this is about to begin or has begun as of last night.
You got to wonder what's going through her head. Like, where does this go? And how effective can she be? And when the president of the United States sits there and says, we don't need you anymore, don't participate in this. And there's a legal battle coming up. We know it's going to happen. But in her current position, she's got no future here. Let's say they say, oh, it really wasn't there. No, she'll be tainted with this. And it really is, as you said, Mitch, you have to be holier than thou if you're in these types of authoritative positions. Because otherwise, the person who's applying for mortgages, they may not have confidence and faith in the system itself if you don't really regulate it this way. Mm-hmm. So now it's Trump saying, nope, we're going to draw the line right now. No more mortgage fraud, and we're going to go after you. Okay, it's got to begin from the top.
Well, and also, too, Mitch, the overall makeup of the board right now, just to be clear, she's only 2 years into a 14-year term. So obviously she's going to fight this, and she's hired Abbe Lowell. On the other side of this is the fact that if she does go, that gives the president another opportunity to appoint another Fed governor that might be more willing to have an open ear to the fact that interest rates likely need to be lowered. Let's be clear here.
Oh, they do. And just like AJ said at the beginning, once the rates are down, what happens? The American economy will be on fire. This is only the beginning of the cleaning of the house of the Federal Reserve. Next, make it Jerome Powell, would you? If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is not just about a Fed governor. It's about who runs America. For decades, the Federal Reserve operated like an untouchable monarchy, printing money, manipulating rates, crushing savers while enriching Wall Street. Now Trump is saying enough. If you're accused of mortgage fraud, you don't get to control monetary policy, period. Lisa Cook's lawyer claims that he has no authority to fire her, but here's what they won't tell you. She hasn't denied the fraud allegations, not once. Fed Chair Powell's silence speaks volumes. Even financial analysts are noting Cook's focus on process and not innocence. So here's my question. Should Federal Reserve governors be above the law? Yes or no? Because if Trump loses this fight, it means Fed officials can commit crimes and keep their jobs. That's not a republic. That's an oligarchy. The Fed has met its match. Make sure you grab your American Badass gear on your way out at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and stand with accountability. All right, let's see. No super chat. Oh, no, we got Craig. What's up, Craig? Dropping in. And he says, Nebraska reporting for duty. May God bless all of the Patriots here. Thank you, Craig, for that. We're at $27.99. Maybe we will hit our goal of $100 in Super Chats tonight. That is where we want to be. But first, we're going to get into the crackdown that is happening. And it is a good one. Let's get into this. But first, we're going to get to our trivia answer. It was B during it was B. You guys said it was A. Trump, you're fired. No, you're wrong. Yes, it was B. FDR during the Great Depression, he attempted to remove Fed Chairman Mariner Eccles in 1963, but failed. Trump's firing of Cook is the boldest move against the Fed ever since then. So where are we going from here? Let's get to our next answer, but first I got to get to, yes, okay, but I get there. Excuse me, the crime crackdown. First question. Which D.C. crime wave led to the first National Guard deployment? A, Trump's American Carnage crackdown. B, 1968 riots after MLK assassination. C, Prohibition bootlegger battles. Or D, when Congress ran out of coffee. Yeah. You guys can weigh in the chat or in the comments or in the poll. A White House correspondent stands at the podium, voice shaking, revealing she was pistol whipped and robbed in our nation's capital. Her attacker still on the streets after 6 arrests and 6 releases. But something has changed this week. 87 arrests in one night, 0 carjackings in 7 days, federal marshals sweeping block by block, repeat offenders finally locked up, citizens walking freely for the first time in years, while Chicago's mayor babbles about affordable housing solving crime. Trump's unleashing a law enforcement tsunami that's transforming D.C. from murder capital to America's safest city. The results are so dramatic, even liberal reporters are thanking God. What you're about to see will restore your faith in justice, so do not look away. When criminals rule D.C. streets, smart families prepare for the worst. That's why My Patriot Supply matters now more than ever. Their 3-month emergency food kit saves you $100 today. Think about it. When law and order breaks down, grocery stores empty in hours. This kit delivers 2,000 plus calories daily for 90 days. Real American-made meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks stored in military-grade buckets. Shelf stable for 25 years. No MSG, no foreign junk. While Trump's marshals restore order in D.C., prepare your family for any crisis. Whether it's crime waves, supply chain collapse, or natural disasters, you are covered. Fast free shipping, 30-day guarantee. Go to preparewithgary.com right now. That's preparewithgary.com. Be ready before chaos hits your neighborhood. And speaking of chaos in the neighborhood, this video, stunning video, has just hit the wires. Subx.news. Chicago has become a joke. Nordstrom smash and grab. Imagine being able to steal some cars, drive into downtown with 15 people, rob a store, drive out of downtown without anyone stopping you while tourists videotape the event, laughing like it's a show. Have you seen this yet? Let's watch it.
Here they go. All right, these guys just robbed, I don't know. Oh, they robbed Nordstrom. Here they go. They're just running. I've always wanted to see this in real life. Where do you think we're going to go, Adam?
I don't know. It's super exciting. I feel like a real Chicago.
It's a stolen car for sure. Here's another guy that they stole. All right, these guys just robbed, I don't know. Oh, they robbed Nordstrom.
The tourist is like, yeah, I've always wanted to see this in real life. And then this, on the same day that robbery occurred in broad daylight in Chicago, Governor J.B. Pritzker is sounding the alarm on the real crisis that we face today. Donald Trump's overreach is what our founders warned against. It's unprecedented, unwarranted, and un-American. There is no emergency here that calls for military intervention. How many of those smash and grabs are happening over there on Michigan Avenue every single day, Governor? That's exactly what President Trump is stopping in Washington, D.C. And yes, he is threatening to do it in Chicago. All right, don't worry. There will be enough food left over after the National Guard steps in. All right? He had this to say also 23 hours ago to Donald Trump and his administration. Governor Pritzker says, "If you hurt my people, nothing will stop me. Not time or political circumstance from making sure you face justice under our constitutional rule of law." Yeah. And of course, he got roasted in the comments. Steve Gruber, I'm sure he's shaking his boots. The only thing that's unstoppable to you is going to the Golden Corral. Carol Mack, an all-you-can-eat buffet would definitely stop you. Disrespected trucker, eat a cheeseburger and calm down. Jason Fike posting a meme of Bart Simpson. Jillian Anderson, the lawlessness running rampant in Chicago is hurting your people. Exactly, Jillian. That's hurting the people of Chicago, the people of Illinois. And where are you, Governor Pritzker? Going to the all-you-can-eat buffet. The dinner bell will stop you and any specials at the Golden Corral. Another one. You might want to listen to your constituents. The Democrats are completely ignorant of reality, as you all have armed security and live in gated communities. Yeah. So that's the voice of the people going after Pritzker when, ironically, we have a freaking smash and grab in broad daylight on the very same day. He's saying nothing's wrong in our state. Democrats don't want Trump to send in the National Guard to help make their city safer, but we're completely fine with Tim Walz using the National Guard to treat Minnesota residents like this back in 2020. Remember that? Remember when they sent out the National Guard to make sure people were in their homes and masked up and locked down? Sure. Law-abiding citizens doing absolutely nothing wrong. The National Guard was called out. But you have lawlessness raging in your streets, and you call President Trump a dictator? Spare me. Here's President Trump at his cabinet meeting talking about the Democrat-run cashless bail system that's a disaster, and that's what's destroying Illinois as well.
Except, I want to make this like friendly, but the places we're talking about happen to be virtually all Democrat-run. Now, take a look at your 25 places that are most troubled. Everyone, except maybe one, and it's way back in number 24 or 25, but essentially 25 out of 25 are run by Democrats, and cashless bail was a disaster. When they did that, and I believe it was instituted first in New York, but when they did cashless bail, that was a tragedy for this, because that's when it really started getting bad. When somebody kills somebody, you don't say you can come out, you don't have to put up anything. You put that person in jail and you find out whether or not it's true, but you don't give cashless bail with a promise to come back in a couple of months, we'll start talking to you, because they go out and they kill other people, and you can't do that. The cashless bail has been, it's just a woke thing. It's got to stop. You see that, Christy, better than anybody. It's got to stop. It causes unbelievable, and we're doing that. We're stopping it in D.C. I want to make this.
It needs to stop nationwide. It empowers criminals just like this, like we just showed you. Smash and grab right there. Unfreaking real. When I saw that, I'm like, I got to show everybody at Next News. Everyone's got to see this. Here's the president talking about long-term safety in D.C.
Plan and ensuring that D.C. For a lot of victims, like myself, a big concern is long-term sustainability. Can you share with the American public about your plan in ensuring that D.C. is safe in the long term?
Longer term, yeah. Well, it's a great question. Number one, we want to stay there for longer than 30 days. As you know, we have an absolute mandate, and I can extend it, but I'd rather not have to declare a national emergency, because by that time, I mean, right now there's not an emergency. We've done, as you sort of said yourself, it feels like a different world. We've got under arrest and prosecution, and we've thrown out, taken some, and we're in the process of taking hundreds out of our country that shouldn't be here. And these are hardcore professional criminals. They were born to be criminals, in my opinion, but they're seriously bad people. Murderers, drug dealers, you know them all. You see them all as you walk beautifully to work, and every once in a while somebody puts a gun to your head, because that's what happened in your case. We're getting a lot of them out of the country. We're putting a lot of them in prison because we're afraid to bring them out of the country. They could come back. As good as we're doing, they could come back. We don't want them back. And that's going to solve a lot of it. We also think there should be a presence here for long enough. We should also work with our police department, because you have very good police here. Very good. We're working very well with them, by the way. And we have to work together for a while. We have some people that are very tough and very strong. Working with the police, they're going to be able to handle it. And you know what? If it gets a little bit bad, just a little bit, I'll bring them back in and we'll straighten it out and we'll make it perfect. You're going to be so safe in the city. And you're going to have the city beautified.
For a lot of victims.
And the city will be beautified. Continuing. Here's a Chicago residence. The governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it, so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago.
In Chicago,
and of course CNN injecting their own position on the matter.
My first reaction was that this is a good thing. I think that the governor as well as the mayor should be on board with it, just so we can get a bit more of security in Chicago the way that we need.
The crime has dropped since 2024. Do you feel like the city feels safer?
No, not at all. No, especially with the police being defunded. My first reaction was...
Especially with the police being defunded. Here's Iris Tao, a White House correspondent, thanking President Trump for cracking down on D.C. crime after revealing she'd been robbed and pistol whipped outside of her apartment at the cabinet meeting.
And public, My name is Abbe Lowell. I'm a White House correspondent for MTV, the sister media of the Epoch Times. So more than 2 years ago, it was a Saturday morning in broad daylight. I was on my way to work, and a young man with a black ski mask pointed a gun at my face and threatened me to hand over my phone, my wallet, my laptop, and everything else. And when I refused, he used the butt of his handgun to strike me across the face, in the cheek, or what some people call pistol whip me, before running away. And that has deeply traumatized myself and my family. Ever since, I've never dared to walk in the street of DC at night, ever. And my family was extremely worried. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for what you're doing right now.
Thank you for being honest.
Such incidents involved not just me, but also my family. If he had shot me, I could have died right there in the middle of nowhere without my families or my friends knowing at the age of back then, I think 23.
Right.
Just starting my career here in DC without even starting a family. Right now, I'm very blessed to have this opportunity.
So you had a gun pointed at your head, and you probably figured that he's going to pull the trigger because these are animals that don't know what the hell. They couldn't care less. The pulling the trigger to him is a very minor event, and I'm sure he's done it before. So how did you? And you did refuse to give it, which would probably, maybe somebody would say that was not the right decision, right? But you refused. But I understand that. So and then he hit you real hard.
Yes.
It's really amazing that you weren't shot. That was.
I'm very blessed, and that's why having this opportunity to stand here to share my story today. One, I'm very grateful for God for allowing me to still survive to this day, but also to Mr. President. Thank you for now making DC safer.
Thank you very much.
For us, for our families, for my parents, on my behalf of my parents, and now my baby on the way. Thank you so much.
Other reporters and journalists, good people, and you don't have to say it, but that have also been attacked violently, and not violently too, pretty badly. But and I bet you see a big difference in the streets right now. And this is only
an amazing testimony right there. Iris Tao, Epoch Times. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson says the city must build affordable housing to reduce crime, rather than bring in more police and federal agents. Really? Is that the answer? Affordable housing? Give me a break. Oh, looks like we have Brandon Johnson going on MSNBC looking like a deer in headlights. I've told you this before. It's an open secret. Brandon Johnson has severe anxiety. Literally hides out in his house for weeks on end. People don't know where he is. He's not governing. He's terrified to face the people because he is in over his head. So the fact that he's actually going out in public and he's making media appearances, it actually says something. Because he knows he can't hide. He cannot hide from what is coming. And that is justice for the people of Chicago who have lived under terror of crime for far too long. So let's listen. Joe Scarborough asked him, do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers?
Would be safer. Would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that.
Oh, my goodness. Scarborough throws him a softball. Would you like to see more police on your street? If you had federal money and you could see more police on your street. Oh, well, policing is not the problem.
I know. Would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good and important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Well, look, here's the best way I can put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone.
You grew up in Elgin, bro. Okay?
Of course we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
Scarborough asking him 3 times. 3 times. Direct question.
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing. Look,
okay,
I'm not saying that
Oh my God. This guy, Scarborough, is throwing him the softball after softball after softball. And he goes, affordable housing. Dude, this guy's a freaking clown. This guy is a clown. Obviously, any person with common sense would say, yeah, you know what? If we had more police on the street, if we had a stronger police presence, we certainly would have higher visibility. That would be a deterrent to crime. Oh, this is too good, man.
The question I asked. My question is, and I just need a yes or a no, do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer if you got all of those other extraordinary programs put back into place, which do have a history of being successful? If that's
I'm sorry, I just watched Brandon Johnson. Just watch. Okay, listen, I'm having too much fun here, but because I know, like, Brandon's just freaking out right now. Like, look at him, deer in headlights. Watch his eyes dart. Watch his eyes dart. Like, he's looking for the exit. All right? We're at 1 minute and 41 seconds into this clip. So I'm going to roll it back just a hair. I'm actually going to put it in slow motion. I'm going to put it in super slow motion and see if you could just watch his eyes dart. We're at 141. I'll go to maybe 135. Now, the audio is going to be distorted because it's playing at 25% speed. But just watch to see if we can catch it. This is now at 1 minute and 33 seconds. So just be careful. It's going to sound distorted.
All those.
Okay, I'll just mute it. Okay, wait for it. Wait for it. He's asking the question for the. There it is. Oh, do you see that? You see him dart. He's freaking out. He can't handle it. He's like, "Where's the exit? I need to go." Scarborough's roasting me on a place that's supposed to be a safe space. Yeah, guys, I'm going on MSNBC today. Oh yeah, you're gonna do just fine. MSNBC, nothing to worry about. Damn, Scarborough asked me the same question 4 times. I'm sure there's going to be a 5th one coming up.
Being successful, if that's complemented by having 5,000 more cops on the streets of Chicago.
I don't believe that we should narrow it down to just police officers, Joe, is what I'm saying. That is an antiquated approach. I'm saying we've invested in detectives.
An antiquated approach, he said. He said that. He literally said, more police is an antiquated approach. Because, remember, he wants to defund the police, right? That's their whole mantra. It's been.
Are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm agreeing with you that all of these other social programs are extraordinarily important. I just need a yes or a no, and then this will be the last time I ask. If you get all of those other social programs that 800 million that New York City does, Los Angeles, other people do with great success. Would an additional 5,000 cops on the streets in Chicago help complement those programs to make Chicago safer?
Look, we are working hard to make sure that our police department is fully supported. I don't believe.
Oh, yeah, dude. He's not. Well, come on.
That just simply putting out an arbitrary number around police officers is the answer. What I'm saying is policing and affordable housing. It's policing and mental and behavioral health care services. It's policing and youth employment. It's a full package. Of course, we want to make sure that our police department is fully supported. That's why I've invested in our Detectives Bureau, because what we have seen in the city of Chicago
And what we've seen in Washington, D.C., is what happens when you have the police fully supported.
Solve crime, it acts and serves as a deterrent. It's policing and all of the other efforts that we're doing. Here's the last thing that I'll say to that. The federal government could work stronger to coordinate with my police department to get guns off the streets of Chicago.
Oh, my goodness. You want to coordinate with the federal government to get guns off the street? Buckle up, dude. Trump's coming.
Seen these.
Oh, he's going to help you a lot.
Coordination efforts work. Just a couple of weeks ago, the ATF, working with my police department, we removed over 150 guns off the streets of Chicago that were trafficked in through Mississippi and Indiana. No one is saying that police officers don't play an incredible role in driving safety. They play an absolute pivotal role in that. But we have asked law enforcement to do too much. Police officers are being asked to be social workers, counselors.
You guys were advocating for that. Police officers are doing too much? It's because you don't have enough. Therefore, Joe Scarborough has to take you to task and ask you the question 5-6 times. Dude, this guy needs some more Xanax. Because these are the scenes happening in your city, Brandon. Okay, broad daylight. Imagine if you had 5,000 more police officers on the street of Chicago. You think this would be happening? You think if you had, if you ended cash bail, this would be happening? Of course it wouldn't be happening. But these are your policies killing your people. Buckle up, dude. Trump is on the way. Oh, man. Oh, baby. What a joke. 13 hours ago, the Department of Justice making D.C. safe again. 87 more arrests, 4 illegal firearms seized last night in D.C., where not a single carjacking has occurred over the past week. Oh, speaking of Chicago, 13 hours ago, here is a Chicago resident.
Without fear, our children can't walk around the community without fear of being hurt or kidnapped or having a drive-by. So it's what these numbers that they're expressing, we don't feel it in our quality of life. Our children can't walk around the community without fear.
Children cannot walk around the community. But J.B. Pritzker can go into any buffet he wants without any fear. He'll probably even get a private table. Stephen Miller, what's he going to say?
I would say to the mayor of all these Democrat cities, like Chicago, what you are doing to your own citizens is evil. Subjecting your own citizens to this constant bloodbath and then rejoicing in it is evil. And you should praise God every single day that President Trump is in the White House. I would say,
amen. We do praise God every single day.
D.C. free. President Trump has literally set the people of Washington, D.C. free. They're so happy now that they can just go out and live their lives, go to their favorite restaurant, go to their favorite bar, go to their favorite pool hall, go to their favorite park. You see moms taking kids out to parks they haven't been to in years because they know the police are there. They know that President Trump is there with his law enforcement to protect them. It's a thing of beauty.
It's a thing of beauty. President Trump cracking the whip in D.C. Secretary Noem, Washington, D.C. is like a different world now.
The next election. They had a president before that was leading the way and giving them cover to break any law that they wanted to remake their state so they could guarantee the next election and guarantee their power. But now we have a president that cares about the average American citizen who gets up every single day and goes to work. And his message is resonating with the American people. People finally have some justice in their lives. They can walk down their streets and be free. Here in Washington, D.C., it's like a whole different world because of what President Trump has done. And so the American people are feeling freedom again. I think they lived under the oppression of Democrat rule in so many of these cities. They forgot what it felt like to actually be free and to be safe. But now, for the last 11 days in D.C., people are feeling different, and they recognize what America used to be, and they want it back permanently. So these Democrat governors, they need to wake up because the people in their communities and in their cities recognize how they've threatened their way of life, and they're not going to take it anymore. They had a president before that.
We got a little bit more to get through. We're almost done with this segment. Don't go anywhere. Let's check in with this soldier, former soldier.
And out of the, I'm good with it. I was a soldier myself. I think it's important for people from out of town and out of the country to feel safe in our nation's capital. I'm good with it.
Here's more. Man wanted connection with armed carjacking, says he's been in and out of D.C. jail 6 times.
Be there very long. One man wanted in connection with an armed carjacking in Maryland told us that, why are you sending me back to jail? I won't even be there very long.
The judge is literally going to say we're going to put him on a 3-day hold. Then once the 3-day hold is up, and around who never shows up. I done been over D.C. jail 6 times for the same warrant. They never show up. D.C. jail has to release me. They release me. It's the same thing every time. The same thing. Every time.
One man wanted in connection with an armed carjacking in Maryland told us that, why are you sending me back to jail? I won't even be there very long.
Won't even be there very long. Not anymore. There's a new sheriff in town, baby. Donald J. Trump. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This is what happens when you put law enforcement back in charge instead of social workers. Iris Tao's attacker bragged and assaulted her. And she rejected. She survived. She had the opportunity to thank President Trump right there in that cabinet meeting. But now the revolving door for criminals has been welded shut. 87 arrests in one night. Gang members off the street. Not a single carjacking in weeks, and citizens actually feeling safe in their own capital. Meanwhile, Chicago's mayor can't even answer a question. He thinks affordable housing stops bullets. Tell that to the mother whose kid can't walk to school without dodging drive-bys. Tell that to families living in terror while Democrats coddle criminals. So here's the question. Should repeat violent offenders get bail? Yes or no? Because D.C. just proved what happens when you lock up criminals. Crime disappears. It's not complicated. Okay, it's not about root cause. It's about handcuffs. Trump's promised to make D.C. safe again. Promise kept. You can show your support for our work here at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and pick out your favorite member of the administration with our American Badass series. Brian, I just sent you a note on Discord. Thank you. You understand what I'm trying to do there? Thank you, sir. Press 1 for English. All right. Let's see. No super chats to speak of. We're still at $27.99. Are you not entertained? All right. Let's go to trivia answer. You guys said 68 riots. You were correct. (1968) riots after MLK assassination. The 68 D.C. riots saw 1,300 federal troops deployed. Trump's current Marshals operation is the biggest federal crime intervention since then. Okay, now we're going to go on to, some people are getting busted for flag burning now. That was quick. First, a historical multiple choice trivia question. What is the official military punishment for letting the flag touch the ground? A, court-martial and dishonorable discharge. B, no official punishment exists. C, 50 push-ups while saluting, or D, forced to watch CNN for 24 hours. All right. Okay. Portland protesters thought they'd make a statement, light up Old Glory outside the ICE facility, and send their message. Federal agents had other plans. They stormed out, grabbed the burning flag, and made arrests on the spot. Same story at the White House. Protester lights the flag, gets cuffed within minutes. The executive order isn't even 24 hours old, and the enforcement is already lightning fast. Civil liberty lawyers are screaming about the First Amendment. Patriots are cheering from coast to coast. But this fight is only just beginning. What happens when constitutional rights collide with respect for our national symbol? When does protest become desecration? The arrests are real, and the showdown is here, and wait till you see it. While protests burn our flag and federal agents restore order, real patriots prepare for darker days ahead. My Patriot Supplies 3-month emergency food kit saves you $100 right now. When civil unrest erupts, stores empty fast. This kit provides 2,000 calories daily for 90 days, actual meals, not rations, breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks, all American made, stored in tough buckets, last 25 years, no MSG, no compromise on quality. Just like those agents protecting our flag, you need to protect your family. When society breaks down, when supply chains fail, when chaos hits your streets, you'll be ready. Fast, free shipping, 30-day guarantee. Go to preparewithgary.com immediately. That's preparewithgary.com. Stand ready while others panic. It's linked down below. So check this out. Feds storm out of ICE facility and snatch a burning flag. Protesters in Portland torched an American flag. Federal agents were not having it. They rushed out of the ICE facility to grab the charged symbol just hours after Trump signed an executive order banning flag burning.
Remnants of the flag. Oh, they're bagging up the flag. They just bagged up. Earlier, somebody burned an American flag. And they are now bagging up the remnants of that flag. You can see the bag right there. They are bagging up the remnants of the flag and they are bringing it back as evidence. Oh, they're bagging up.
Yep, that's Portland for you. Trump signs an EO aimed at prosecuting the burning of the American flag. I'm getting everything I voted for, says Avery Dyer.
You can actually
Every day. Excuse me.
Trump must be doing something right because the terrorists are mad at him again today as he signs an executive order saying that you cannot burn the American flag. You can actually go to prison for a year without early release if you are caught burning the American flag. People are saying that this is a violation of the First Amendment and a violation of our free speech. He's using existing laws to do it. He's not introducing any new laws to carry out this executive order. I do not believe that the First Amendment creates an absolute right to destroy symbols of sovereignty, which is what our American flag is. I believe our American flag is federal property. I believe that if you're burning our American flag, you're a terrorist. And you should absolutely be in prison. I'm not saying you can't critique our country. Of course you can critique our country, but you cannot burn our flag. There have been over 1 million U.S. military deaths under this flag. It is respect for them. It is respect for our country, for our history, for the sacrifices made. And I don't want any tolerance. I want a zero tolerance policy for terrorism in our country. Trump must be doing something right because the terrorists are mad at him again today as he signs an
She says the terrorists are mad at him again today. Let's see. They've been appeased so much that they're openly taking their masks off. Burning the American flag is a beautiful sight, but it's not enough. We need to burn the U.S. government to the ground. That's what this TikToker is saying.
Organization. You guys, I need to talk to you about something super serious, and it's this right here. Like,
burning the American flag. It's just, wallahi, it's a beautiful sight, but it's not enough. We need to burn down every capitalist and imperialist system that exists. We need to burn the US government, aka global terrorist organization, down to the fucking ground. We can no longer allow the worst, most violent, evil, disgusting people to lead us, because they're going to continue making the world a waking nightmare for everybody. So
yeah, I'm sure you just got on a list somewhere, honey. Ian Miles Chong writing, the idea that burning the American flag is somehow protected speech is absurd to the max, given that it's neither speech nor is it ever intended to be peaceful when conducted during a riot. It's only unconstitutional to ban flag burning because 5 judges decided it in 1989.
Occurred, and that Chopper 6 video shows patriotic bunting flags in a small fire, and a woman throws several smaller American flags onto the heap. Police say this began in Rittenhouse Square and grew to about 400 people. As they marched down Chestnut Street, an act of vandalism occurred, and that's when police began to call in more resources, and they say the situation changed. Once fires were started here outside City Hall, police moved in. Chopper 6
Rittenhouse Square? Okay, let's see. Check this out. This was on June 25th. After a manhunt, Atlanta police arrested 4 teens for allegedly ripping an LGBTQ flag. Police are considering hate crime charges. So burning an American flag is totally fine. Ripping down a pride flag is equal to a hate crime. Make it make sense. Here is the footage of the alleged hate crime in progress. Manhunt currently underway. Atlanta police. Yeah. Make it make sense. Okay, so this was the scene outside of the White House 7 hours ago. A former combat veteran burned the American flag in protest of Trump's executive order to punish those who do so. Flag burning is protected speech under the First Amendment, but the protester was arrested anyway. This is one of those FAFO moments.
My name's Jay Carey. I'm a retired disabled combat veteran, serving over 20 years in the United States Army. Art Jesus in that house right there signed an executive order today saying that it was illegal to burn the American flag. No president can make a law, period. No Congress will make a law infringing on First Amendment rights. I'm burning this flag as a protest to that illegal fascist president that sits in that house. It is our First Amendment right to burn this flag, regardless of what the president says. Remember your oath. Active and prior military. Your oath does not expire. You will defend this United States and the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic.
So that was pretty quick, right? We got another angle here. Conservative Brief writes, well, that didn't take long.
Art Jesus in that house right there signed an executive
He calls him Orange Jesus.
order today saying that it was illegal to burn the American flag. No president can make a law, period. No Congress will make now serving 1 year.
Here's another shot of him getting arrested.
I'm being treated very well. Not surprising, seeing as I'm a middle-aged white man. He just took his phone.
Oh, wow. Really, dude? Really?
Brothers and sisters, immigrants are receiving probably a lot better. I'm being treated very well. Not surprising, seeing as I'm a middle-aged white man. He just took his phone, trying to unlock it. Jan. Yeah, I know it's. What? That's right.
Why is he being arrested, sir? Why is he being arrested?
Look at the guard and police presence.
Can you answer that? Scared to answer it? Why is he being detained? Because I expressed my First Amendment rights in a public area, not causing any danger, causing no danger to anybody. Simply expressing my rights as a U.S. citizen and a retired disabled combat veteran who served this country faithfully for over 20 years.
Well, we thank you for your service, sir, and we thank them for their service as well. So we got some more. Trump says the U.S. will not allow 600,000 Chinese students into this country or in the country. In 2022, there were 290,000 Chinese students. 2023, there were 277,000 Chinese students. How does doubling the number of Chinese students put America first?
The students to come in. President Xi would like me to come to China. It's a very important relationship. As you know, we're taking a lot of money in from China because of the tariffs and the different things. And it's a very important relationship. We're going to get along good with China. I hear so many stories about we're not going to allow their students. We're going to allow their students to come in. We're going to allow, it's very important, 600,000 students. It's very important. But we're going to get along with China. But it's a different relationship that we have now with China. It's a much better relationship economically than it was before. With Biden, boy, what he allowed that, I mean, they just took him to the cleaners. You know, President Xi would like me to come to China.
Laura Ingraham raising a question about the same, about the Chinese students.
Allowing
it's very important.
Mr. Secretary, with all due respect, how is allowing 600,000 students from the communist country of China putting America first?
Well, the president's point of view is that what would happen if you didn't have those 600,000 students is that you'd empty them from the top, all the students would go up to better schools, and the bottom 15% of universities and colleges would go out of business in America. So his view is he's taking a rational economic view, which is classic Donald Trump, looking at higher education and saying,
but why are you
until
helping
we
Harvard?
Modify that.
That just
What's
helps
that?
Harvard and UCLA and UCal Berkeley and I mean you're all helping those schools. Why? They're like, basically factories of anti-American propaganda. And now they're getting a big.
And now you better not burn a flag in the United States because you're going to find out the hard way. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So here's what kills me. They try lighting a beach towel on fire in a public park and you'll get arrested for arson, but wrap that same fire on Stars and Stripes. Suddenly you're a constitutional scholar exercising free speech. Make it make sense. The Supreme Court says that burning our flag is symbolic speech. You know what else is symbolic? Handcuffs, clicking on wrists when you disrespect the banner that brave men died defending. Trump's order doesn't create new law, it enforces existing ones. Incitement, disturbing the peace, public endangerment. The flag is just evidence of anti-American intent. And yesterday proved one thing, mess around and find out. So here's a question for you. Should burning the American flag remain protected speech, yes or no? Because other countries, they'll jail you for this. Maybe it's time we showed some backbone too. Stand for something. Shop our patriotic gear at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right. Brian, do me a favor. That clip that I recorded with you earlier, I don't know what's wrong with this. Like, I'm trying to download it here, and I keep having problems. I know, but it's like not downloading. That's the problem. It says preparing for download, but it's like just stuck there. So just do me a favor, just send it up on Discord, just in our messages, and I can literally download it from Discord. This is stupid. I don't know why this is so difficult it's not your fault. It's, it's whatever. Okay, then just put it there and just leave it there. I'll grab it. I got to get that out later. Okay, no more super chats. Okay, all right. I get it. I get it. I'll try harder. Let's see. We got some more here. All right. Okay, let's get to our trivia answer. You guys said B, no official punishment exists. You're correct. There is no official punishment if the flag touches the ground. Military flag codes are ceremonial guidelines, not punishable offenses, but letting it touch the ground shows disrespect every service member avoids. All right. Yeah, Grand Old Memes, we're going to need some work on these. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. All right. Let's get to our next question. What year did Trump derangement syndrome enter the dictionary? A, 2016, after election night meltdowns. B, never, still waiting on Webster's. C, 2017, when psychiatrists diagnosed it. Or D, 1946, a different Trump, same tears. All right. Got some breaking news to report. After our investigation into Cracker Barrel, well, looks like Cracker Barrel has cracked. They heard the voices of the hungry, and now they are keeping Uncle Herschel on that logo. Also, protesters out in the streets protesting things they can't pronounce, supporting criminals they've never met, burning flags for causes they don't understand. One protester actually admitted she didn't know what Palantir was, just heard it was anti-Trump. Democrat politicians coaching kids on hormone blockers while mayors brag about protecting criminal aliens. A governor's ranting about red hats and suggesting flag burning. Even Snoop Dogg has had enough of the insanity. The examples are so absurd. You'd think they were parody, but this is real life in 2025. The left has completely detached from reality. We've got the receipts. What you're about to witness is not political opposition. It's a mental health crisis playing out in real time. And it looks like Cracker Barrel may have taken the right medication. And while the left melts down and chaos spreads, smart Americans focus on what matters, survival. My Patriot Supplies 3-month emergency food kit saves you $100 right now. When society loses its mind, you need rock-solid preparation, and this kit delivers 2,000 calories daily for 90 days. Real meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, plus drinks and snacks, all packed into military-grade buckets. 25-year shelf life, 100% American-made, no MSG, no garbage, while protesters scream about things they don't understand, while politicians push insanity, while corporate CEOs lose their mind to the woke mob. You'll have food security, because when the mob comes to your neighborhood, grocery stores won't save you. Fast free shipping, 30-day guarantee. Visit preparewithgary.com. That's preparewithgary.com. Stay sane by staying prepared. So, great news to report. We did it, folks. From our investigation in Bloomington yesterday to the Oval Office, 2 White House reporters, Tom McCullough and myself, put the pressure on, and Cracker Barrel cracked. Herschel lives. Uncle Herschel lives to see another sign. This was our investigation yesterday. They serve Bud Light here. Think about that. If there's ever a bigger red flag, it's that they're selling Bud Light. It's all making sense now. Cracker Barrel and Bud Light are the unholy alliance of food and beverage. Holy cow. So that was our report yesterday. You can go back, you can check it out. It's also on X. But this is the breaking news everyone's talking about right now. Cracker Barrel Caves reinstates original logo after pressure from critics, including President Trump. No doubt, because the White House watches everything that we do. I mean, they've even used my voice in promotional videos for Liberation Day. They pay very close attention to all of our reporting. And, of course, what happens? We report yesterday, and then moments later, President Trump puts out a statement, Cracker Barrel caves. You know, you can thank Gary Franchi, you can thank Tom McCullough for saving Uncle Herschel. Cracker Barrel announces it's changing its logo back after the rebrand. Oh, yeah, check it out here. Win. We will take it. Are you tired of winning yet? Stephen Miller writing 2 hours ago, how much did Cracker Barrel spend on its marketing team for the rebrand? Anna Kelly, promises made, promises kept. Real Donald Trump has saved Cracker Barrel. You're welcome, America. Here's what Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social account. Cracker Barrel should go back to the old logo, admit a mistake based on customer response, the ultimate poll, and manage the company better than ever before. They got $1 billion worth of free publicity if they play their cards right. Very tricky to do, but a great opportunity. Have a major news conference today and make Cracker Barrel a winner again. Remember, in just a short period of time, I made the United States of America the hottest country anywhere in the world. 1 year ago, it was dead. Good luck. Here's the official statement from Cracker Barrel. We thank our guests for sharing your voices and love for Cracker Barrel. We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain. His name's Uncle Herschel, by the way. At Cracker Barrel, it's always been and always will be about serving up delicious food, warm welcomes, and the kind of country hospitality that feels like family. As a proud American institution, our 70,000 hardworking employees look forward to welcoming you to our table soon. But they're still serving Bud Light there. No comment on that. Huge. This was the logo that they were going to use. Yeah. Getting rid of the cracker and the barrel, as I've been told. President Trump making waves, no doubt. Our report made its way to the Oval Office desk. Cracker Barrel, this is the official. Thanking our guests for sharing your voices. This is the official statement. Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel promises rebranding. In Cracker Barrel's process of rebranding from old-timey to modern old-timey and killing their business, they wokeified the peg game to minimize hurt feelings to those who don't do so well. Did they actually misspell a keyword? I remember when I went to Cracker Barrel and I saw the peg game. I love the peg game. My kids and I were playing it. But this is, just plain Egno Remus. I remember trying to understand what that meant. I was asking my mother when I was little and I was playing this game at Cracker Barrel, what does that mean, Egno Remus? Jump all but one games. Jump each tee and remove it. Leave only one, you're genius. Leave two, and you're pretty smart. Leave three, and you're just plain dumb. Leave four or more, and you're just ignoramus. And now it says, leave one, you're a genius. Leave two, rocking the chair but not the game. Leave three or more, no reason to be embarrassed. Try again. Pfft. See, that's the stupid stuff. That's just stupid. But, you know, it's because of people like this that are destroying the brands, destroying the Democrat Party. Alpha Fox says that this guy is a disease. You be the judge.
Is going to make politics have not gone the way that a lot of us would have liked them to have gone recently. And so many of my friends feel utterly out of control and chaotic. We are beautiful, liberal, progressive people. And because of that, we feel things. That's our deal. We feel. We cry liberal tears, right? That's us. And so when the election happened, many of us flung ourselves all over the place. We want to help the planet, and reverse climate change if we can. We want to help immigrants and refugees feel welcome. We want to help LGBTQ people have a place in society. We want women to have equal status. And I watched all of my friends try to do everything at once. You end up feeling worn out. But I have the answer for you today.
Do?
The thing you were taught is most wrong with you is your greatest asset as an activist. The thing you were taught to hide and feel shame.
Okay, yeah, I'm done. Okay, let's keep going here because this is not over. This was 7 hours ago. Robbie Starbuck, writing Cracker Barrel Management, is cracking. Today, they removed the LGBTQ Pride page off the Cracker Barrel website. First 3 screenshots below show what that page used to look like. The fourth shows how it looks now. The backlash against them for going woke has them in panic. Bringing the front porch to Pride. Robbie Starbuck is well known for putting pressure on major corporations to drop DEI. Been very successful. So if there's one person I trust with this information, it's Robbie Starbuck. But here, bringing the front porch to Pride. This was their page. Celebrate being you. On behalf of Cracker Barrel's LGBTQ Plus Alliance and DEI B team, we want to celebrate you for being you. Nashville Pride, celebrating it. Page not found. Uh-oh. Yep, they realize that. See, when I did my initial deep dive into Cracker Barrel, and I trying to figure out, like, when did the whole woke thing begin? Turns out it wasn't this current CEO, it was the previous CEO who started to inject DEI into the business. But again, they did it very quietly, under the radar. They didn't make any waves when they did it. And what has happened with the current CEO, with the logo change and now backtracking, is they basically just shone a light right on Cracker Barrel. And then everybody starts looking. Robbie Starbuck starts looking. I start looking. The president starts looking. And they realize, we can't do things quietly anymore. We made too big of a move. And now you have stuff like this. Boom, page not found. Deleted. What else do we got here? Trump derangement syndrome. Steve Guest writing, it's extremely fair to say that folks with Trump derangement syndrome are idiots. At a protest against Palantir. I didn't know what it was, someone said. I'm here because we're protesting Trump.
Well, what makes you think? The tech company Palantir is working with the Trump administration to identify violent alien gangbangers, so a handful of geriatric suburban leftists only needed to hear the name Trump to take to the streets of Washington, D.C. to voice their outrage. Except they couldn't tell us why they were there.
Well, what makes you think we're protesting President Trump?
So you don't know what the protest's about?
No, if it's against Trump, I'm all there.
You're saying you're here because you think we're protesting Trump. What makes you say that?
Anything to stop Donald Trump and what he's doing.
Why are you out here specifically protesting Palantir?
I didn't even know what Palantir was. I'm here for the weekend from Florida. And I saw the protest and I figured, hey, let's get out. This happens to be the sign that I brought with me.
Palantir is using technology to specifically prioritize the identification of illegal alien criminals, including gangbangers and murderers. What makes you against that?
I think they're doing more than that. I think that the data that they're using, I believe that they're using that data to actually spot. They're allowing government agencies to do more surveillance on American citizens and citizens of other countries.
What makes you believe that?
From what I've read online.
Like where online?
Well, obviously all the, progressive websites, news websites.
Can you list a few?
Sure, Alternate, The Nation.
We're asking people why they are out here.
Justine Brooke Murray on the streets, showing just how dumb protesters are. Speaking of dumb protesters, Riley Gaines writes, "You're telling me this isn't an SNL skit? Democrats chanting in support for illegal aliens. Kilmar is our neighbor. You can't have him." And they're wearing pink vests. Kilmar Abreu Garcia.
You can't have him, Trump. No! Kilmar is our neighbor. You can't have him, Trump. Heck no! Kilmar is our neighbor. You can't have him, Trump. No! Kilmar is our neighbor. You can't have him, Trump. Heck no!
Kilmar is our neighbor. You can't have him, Trump. No. Kilmar is our neighbor. You can't have him, Trump. Heck no. Oh, my Lord. Oh, you want to see your neighbor? Here's your neighbor getting arrested.
Gobierno corrupto.
There is your neighbor. Kilmar is our neighbor. You can't have him, Trump. Guess what? We got him. We got him. That is 24 hours ago. DHS has released video of Kilmar Abreu Garcia being arrested by ICE today. Ship him off to Uganda, he says. Tell activist judges to go pound sand. Oh, no. What is this? Michigan Democrat Carrie Ragans urges kids on TikTok to contact her so she can help them get puberty blockers.
For gender affirming. Hey, State Rep Carrie Ragans here, and I am recording a video today to talk to you, trans kids here in Michigan. I want you to know that the care you might want for gender affirming care is legal in Michigan, and it's still continuing in a wide variety of places.
Oh, no. Yeah. That's what they're posting on TikTok, Democrats. Oh, we got Stephen Miller. Love it. The Democrat Party. Oh, okay, let's go.
The Democrat Party does not fight for, care about, or represent American citizens. It is an entity devoted exclusively to the defense of hardened criminals, gangbangers, and illegal alien killers and terrorists. The Democrat Party is not a political party. It is a domestic extremist organization. Look at Chicago. They've shut down the police department. They've handcuffed law enforcement, and as President Trump says, they have turned the streets of Chicago into a bloody killing field. Here in Washington, D.C., before President Trump launched the federal law enforcement liberation in D.C., there was a murder on the streets of this town every other day. Body after body after body after body. That was Washington, D.C. Residents were afraid to go to restaurants. They were afraid to go into entire neighborhoods. They were getting carjacked right and left, robbed and beaten. That was Washington, D.C. Now we're 2 weeks homicide free, the safest the city has ever been in its entire history. And the Democrats, instead of jumping up and down and saying, thank you, President Trump, thank you for saving our lives, thank you for saving our cities, thank you for scrubbing away all the graffiti, the trash, the homeless encampments, the druggies, instead of cleaning up the city, instead of thanking him for that, they're saying, President Trump, how dare you save our lives? How dare you save our children? How dare you save our city? The Democrat Party, Sean, that exists today, it disgusts me. I do not recognize that party, Sean. The Democrat...
Nobody does. Even Democrats don't recognize the party. That's why so many people are walking away from it, because this is the scene. This is what Democrats do, right? This is what Democrats do. Do you agree with that? Here's a C.J. Pearson, 24 hours ago, speaker of the DNC's summer meeting. Migrant crime and carjackings are things that don't matter to many Americans. I'm pretty sure most people don't want to be carjacked and attacked by an illegal alien. This is the DNC. This is the language that they are putting out.
How do we deal with mental issues voters care about? Where does Trump go? Migrant crime, carjackings, the really lurid, awful stuff that is a crazy, crazy visual. Don't take the bait, because most Americans are more worried about how are we going to address mental health issues, the visible homelessness that we see on streets, and how do we deal with mental health and other issues that drive the sort of random incidents that scare all of us. That's what you should be talking about. That's where you should be focused. Don't take the bait in talking about migrant crime or carjackings or the things that actually don't matter to that many Americans. And then go to the issues vote.
Carjackings don't matter to that many Americans. They matter to someone who gets carjacked. Oh, man, these people are so delusional. Oh, speaking of delusional, here we have Tim Walz, deeply disturbed. What's he ranting about now?
Cruel. Think of how easy it would be to be a damn Republican. Oh, what should I wear today? This stupid freaking red hat. What should I say today? I don't know. Just make sure it's cruel. Who do we listen to? That guy. Oh, the felon in the White House? Yeah, listen to him and that will be fine. Now he's talking about burning flags. He's going to have flag burning or whatever. Because he knows there's a hell of a lot of flags with his picture on it that are going to get burned. Think of how easy it would...
Unreal. Another one, Democrat mayor of Oakland announced in her first 100 days as the first black woman in her possession, the top priority for her has been ensuring our police do not cooperate with ICE.
For democracy, I just want to take a moment to first bring you greetings from Oakland, California. Oakland is in the house. Now, Oakland is a community that fights for democracy every day. And it's one that I'm honored to represent as I approach my first 100 days as mayor. And I just happen to be Oakland's first black woman mayor. Now, y'all know the signs of authoritarianism cannot be ignored. And so I want to just take a minute to thank California Democrats led by...
I don't want to listen to her anymore. I'm getting tired of these people. Oh, my goodness. These people are just so crazy. Migrant carjacking. Joe Biden secured a $10 million book deal for his presidential memoir. What should it be named? That's the question being asked. Snoop Dogg. Uh-oh. Snoop Dogg. He says the LGBTQ community is furious with the legendary rapper Snoop Dogg after he said he was scared to go to the movies after watching Disney's Lightyear film with his grandson and seeing LGBTQ plus couple.
They move on into they move down the line. I took my grandson to see what was the movie with Buzz Lightyear?
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz. The Lightyear. I think it's called Lightyear.
Yeah, with Kiki Palmer's in that movie.
Okay.
She plays.
Yeah, he looks a little high, but you get the point. Oh no, what's this one?
Pronouns. And hi, I'm Scout. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm an interdisciplinary major at UBC. I'm in my last semester. My primary thematic focus is decolonizing academia and public knowledge systems, and my secondary thematic focus is biocultural and linguistic futurity.
For those who don't know what that means, can you give us a quick rundown?
Yeah, basically what I focus on is the promises that the institution has made and also the emergence of indigenous ways of knowing and being across the disciplines, and I feature in a lot of stuff like language revitalization, or the emergent vitality of languages rather, and just kind of a bunch of stuff. I've taken courses in over 20 departments, so
okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
Hi, I'm Scout. I use they, them pronouns, and
okay, Scout. Good luck finding a job with that. Oh no, what's this? Kamala is a vindictive, poor excuse for a human being. J.D. Vance reveals the moment. Well, let's see.
Mansion before J.D. Vance, he unearthed this moment where apparently the Vance family had asked to see the mansion before moving in. And Kamala Harris said no. Watch this.
There was a bit of a controversy. I don't remember exactly what had happened, but I think that normally it's customary for the outgoing vice president to show the incoming vice president's family the house. And we have 3 little kids, so I guess at the time our kids were like 7, 5, and 2. I guess Mirabelle turned 3 right before the inauguration. They had never seen this house, and Usha really wanted to show them. So what we actually proposed is, recognizing the weirdness of the politics, can Usha take the kids over and just show them where they're going to be living for the next 4 years? And they were rebuffed. So
I say, you're a grown-ass woman, and Usha Vance wanted to show her children where they were going to be living. They were very young. Moving is stressful. It's emotional, especially when you're young. Usha Vance wanted to make sure that the house was baby-proofed before moving in, because apparently on Inauguration Day, you move in. And it just seems so insensitive and rude. Can you not just be nice and let the Vance family in to see where they're going to be living? Even if someone in Harris's staff let the future second lady of the United States come in to see it for future planning purposes only, right? I don't expect anything from Kamala Harris, but you would think that this would be the common, decent thing to do. And
she suffers from severe TDS. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So we can score a huge victory because it was your opposition, our investigation, reaching the Oval Office that forced Cracker Barrel to its knees to keep Uncle Herschel on that logo. But TDS is a serious, serious problem. It goes from the corporate boardrooms all the way down to Main Street. It's not normal political opposition. It's mass psychosis. You heard it. A protester literally said she didn't know what Palantir was, but showed up because Trump. Democrats defending killers while Oakland's mayor orders cops to ignore ICE. Michigan representatives recruiting kids for gender surgery on TikTok. Tim Walz wants people burning Trump flags. A DNC speaker dismissing carjackings as things that don't matter to Americans. Stephen Miller nailing it. The Democrat Party isn't political anymore. It is a domestic extremist organization. When you prioritize illegal aliens over citizens and criminals over victims and woke logos over nostalgia and pronouns over safety, you have left politics and you've entered cult territory. So here's my question. Is Trump derangement syndrome a real mental health condition? Drop a yes or a no in the comments. Let's continue this conversation, because when you are protesting things you can't pronounce, maybe it's time for an intervention. The cure for TDS? Reality. Get yours at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com with our American Badass collection. You'll find it linked down below, where you can trigger a liberal today at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right. Eric Williams heeding the call. I am entertained. Appreciate the show. Thank you, Eric Williams. We're at $82.98. Curio 23 with another dad joke rounding out the super chats. He did start the super chats. Maybe he will be the last. I don't know if he will be the last, but at the moment it appears to be so. What does one boob say to the other boob? If we don't get support, people will think we're nuts. Great show, Gary and crew. Good God. Curio, always with the jokes. What's the answer to our trivia question, Brian? What is it? Well, you guys said it was A, 2016 election night meltdowns, and you were incorrect. The answer, B, never, still waiting on Webster's. Though widely used since 2016, Trump derangement syndrome remains unofficial. Psychiatrists debate whether it's real or just partisan trolling. So, Patriots, what a show. What a day. What a time to be alive. Uncle Herschel returning to the Cracker Barrel logo. We watched President Trump hold court for 3 hours and 17 minutes. No breaks, no weakness, just pure American strength, while his critics need nap time after 20 minutes. His cabinet delivering bombshell after bombshell, defense becoming war, 500,000 private jobs created, 84,000 swamp creatures shown the door. Historic trade deals, massive tax cuts, and that's just the appetizer 6 months in. The main course, Trump fired Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook over mortgage fraud allegations. Her lawyer says it's illegal. Trump says bring it. The constitutional cage match will determine if presidents can hold central bankers accountable or if the Fed remains untouchable. Powell's silence, though, speaks volumes because he knows the game just changed. Then we hit the streets, where Trump's promise to make D.C. safe again became a reality. Iris Tao thanking God and Trump after being pistol whipped by thugs who'd been arrested 6 times and released 6 times. Not anymore. 87 arrests in one night, 0 carjackings all week, U.S. Marshals sweeping block by block. Meanwhile, the Chicago mayor taking anxiety medication, dodging questions, thinking that affordable housing stops bullets. Good luck with that one, buddy. The flag burning crackdown, lightning fast. Portland protesters torching Old Glory. Federal agents storming out and grabbing it. White House protester lighting a flag, instantly arrested. The left scream First Amendment while Trump enforces existing laws against incitement and public endangerment. Funny how burning a beach towel gets you arrested, but burning a flag makes you a constitutional hero. And, of course, the grand finale, celebrating Uncle Herschel's return to the Cracker Barrel logo. Watching the left completely lose their minds. Protesters can't pronounce what they're protesting. Democrats defending cop killers while coaching kids on puberty blockers. Tim Walz ranting about red hats and burning Trump flags. Even Snoop Dogg's calling out the insanity. When you're too crazy for Snoop, it's time to evaluate your life choices. So to everyone who sent in super chats and Rumble rants, you guys made the show epic. Your energy, your passion, your jokes, and your comments kept us fired up for every segment. You're the raw feed. You are the revolution. Tell a friend about what happened here today. Text them the link. Share it on every platform. The mainstream media will not report this truth. Only we will. And remember, looking good while fighting the good fight matters. So hit up shop.nextnewsnetwork.com for Alligator Alcatraz, President Auto Pen, and our American Badass gear. Wear your beliefs proudly. This is Gary Franchi reminding you, we're not just watching history, we are making it every single day. Trump is delivering what he promised. Every day, the left melts down even harder. Every day, America gets stronger. We'll see you tomorrow for another raw feed where truth meets action and patriots unite. Stay strong, stay ready, and stay American.